Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to show you an example of how we would solve the surface area of a cylinder. So in the last video we basically discussed how a cylinder, if we draw a net of it, it's basically made up of two circles and a rectangle. Alright, so let's take a look at this example here. It's example 2 and we can see it's found on page 152 here. Okay, 152. So, it says find the surface area of a cylinder that has a radius of 90 millimeters and a height of 300 millimeters. So I know the answer is below it, but we're going to basically ignore the answer, and I want to show you how we can get to our own answer. Alright, so what this question has done is it said, hey, take a look at this cylinder. It's got a top part here, which we're going to call area 1, and that's what your book labeled it as, is area 1. Now there's actually two of those areas. There's one on the top here because there's a circle on the top, and there's also one on the bottom here. So we actually have two area 1s, so let's keep that in mind here. Okay, we also have one of area 2 right here, and this is that rectangle that is formed on the outside of a cylinder. If you imagine, if we just took some scissors and kind of cut the outside of a rectangle straight up like that, what it would form is a rectangle like this. Like that, where the top value is the circumference around the circle, and this value here is the height of the cylinder. Okay, now we also have two circles here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually fill in this height. We know it's 300 millimeters. So let's fill that in there. Now we also know that we have that circle, area 1. So the circle looks something like this. A radius of 90 millimeters. Let's see if I can sneak that in here. 90. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to find the area of these and kind of add them up. So let's first find the area of this circle. We know that the area of a circle, I'm just going to change my ink color here to blue. The area of my circle, area, is equal to pi times r squared. Okay, well my r here is 90, so I'm going to keep filling in my formula. So I have pi times 90 squared. Okay, and that's going to tell me that my area then is, let's pull up a calculator here. So my area, calculator, okay, area is pi times by, I'm going to open up a bracket, 90 squared, close my bracket, and you can see in the lower portion there, just below the 8100, you can see pi times 90 squared, and that's going to give me 25,447. 25,447. Just remember that. 25,447. And this is going to be in millimeters squared. If we just take a look up here, I need to change this 300 to millimeters. Okay, so we have the area of one of those circles. Now let's see if we can find the area of this rectangle here. Now, the formula for the area of, the circumference, if you look up by my clock, alright, the formula for circumference, there's two formulas. I'm going to use the formula that involves radius. So circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r. Okay, now if we want to use this formula here, there's also another one that looks like this. It says circumference is equal to pi times d. That's another one. Okay, D means diameter of a circle, but I'm going to use the first one. So that radius, that doesn't come from the 300. The radius comes from the circle. It says if you want to know the distance around that circle, take 2 times pi times the radius of it. So let's do that here. So circumference, just going to erase that second formula for now. So circumference is equal to 2 times pi times my radius, which is 90 millimeters here. Okay, so let's use our calculator here. 2 times pi times 90. So 2 times pi times 90. And that gives us 565.5, give or take. Take one decimal. 565.5, that's my circumference. Okay, this is in millimeters. There's no area here, it's circumference. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to now, basically, if I want the area of this, my area is equal to length times width. It's a rectangle, but if we plug in the stuff that we got here, it's actually going to be area is equal to C times 300. Well, I got my C now, so my area here is equal to C times 300, like that. Okay, and my C value is 565.5 times 300. So 565.5 times 300. Let's put that in there. So 565.5 times 300. 169650. So 169,650. And this is an area measure, and that's millimeters squared. Okay, we are almost done. We know that there's 2 of these circles, so we actually have to multiply this value. If we want to find the total area, we got to take this value and times it by 2 because there's 2 of those circles. So it times by 2 circles. So 25447. Times by 2, 5894. So that's going to be equal to 5894 millimeters squared. So that's all the area for the circles, and we have all the area for that rectangle. So the last step here is to add it all up, and I'm going to do that in black. So if I want my total area, it's going to be my rectangle portion, 169,650, plus my circle portion, which is 5894. Okay, and let's add that up. 5894, 169,650. 169. So I'm just going to use this one. So plus 169,650. And that gives me a grand total of 220,544. So 220,544 millimeters squared. And that's the total area of this cylinder here. Okay. And there we go. And of course this value is a little bit different, and it's because they use more decimals, but we're in the ballpark. Okay. It's a general process of making sure we recognize that there's 2 circles, area 1, there's 2 area 1s. Okay. Draw a little bit of a net. See, we have a 90 radius here. Find the area of one of those circles, times it by 2 because there's 2 circles. Okay, and then find that rectangle, which is the sides of that cylinder. So we needed to find the circumference first, and then we times that by the height right here. Okay, and then that gave us our total area over here. We add them all together. So that's the general process of solving the surface area of a cylinder.